Hi, my name is Janet Gleesa, and I will be discussing AI and robots in human workspaces. Let's get into it. So, a brief introduction of this topic. In the day and age we're in now, technology is almost constantly at our fingertips. Gone are the days of having to hope the encyclopedias in your local library are up to date, or having to wait for National Geographic to play Mythbusters late at night to find out cool science facts. The world is close to its fifth industrial revolution, and there's virtually nowhere to go but up from here. Just to clear up what I mean when I say we're reaching our fifth industrial revolution, let me break that down real quick. So, our first industrial revolution occurred around the tail end of the 18th century going into the 19th century and is marked by the introduction of machines and techniques used to mass-produce products such as textiles, iron making, and so on. Next, we have the Industrial Revolution that occurred near the end of the 19th century going into the 20th, which is marked by huge technological shifts in industries that help the emergence of new energy sources, such as electricity, gas, and oil, as well as inventions such as the automobile and plane. Third, we have the Industrial Revolution that took place in the second half of the 20th century, referred to popularly as the Digital Revolution. This is marked by the emergence of nuclear energy, electronics, telecommunication, computers, and, most famously, the Internet. Our fourth revolution is our current industrial revolution, referred to as Industry 4.0 by many. This is marked by the explosion of the internet, allowing technology to flourish, and popularizing AI technology, quantum computing, blockchain, and so much more. This brings us to the fifth industrial revolution, one that, as I mentioned earlier, is approaching soon, much sooner than most would think. As predicted by many experts, the goal of the fifth revolution is, unsurprisingly, to integrate humans and technology, the hope being to put more priority on humanity again instead of profit. AI is expected to create new human labor productivity. How is this possible, however? Well, we already have robots and even AI incorporated into many different jobs and workspaces, albeit rather primitively. Robots that are part of factory production lines helping us mass produce goods, AI that is carefully curated not to just give humans a good experience in what they're trying to accomplish, but also built to learn and grow, with apps like Google Maps predicting where you're trying to go simply based off your location and the addresses you frequent. So it's not so much a question of how robots will be integrated, so much as when will they be integrated. And as it turns out, that time may already be upon us. The restaurant industry is raring to go, bringing robots into their restaurants, and our countless companies are navigating what exactly they need to do in order to bring these bots to the same level of customer service as is expected from their human counterparts. In an article published by Kim et al., an article I used in my paper, they discovered that the only areas where robot service fell short of their expectations versus human service is in the area of personalized care, meaning that while the robots did a fine job of bringing them their food and taking their orders, they fell short of a well-rounded experience. Human staff was able to take the last-minute preferences of customers into account quickly and do things such as table changes or change their mannerisms accordingly, whereas the robots were mainly just following the code and providing the most basic of customer service to customers. However, if we were to utilize the learning AI algorithms that are being created and curated to perfection today, this issue could very well be solved within the next 5 to 10 years at most. Then there's the topic of fully automated restaurants. A cafe in Nihonbashi opened back in June of 2021, featuring humanoid robots as waitstaff being operated remotely by employees who are sick, are disabled, or maybe just have children at home to take care of. This could revolutionize jobs for those who have been in workplace accidents and still need a paycheck but cannot physically work anymore, or people who suffer from autoimmune disorders and can't afford to risk their health on a daily basis, especially because of COVID-19 just happening. That also would help the visible and invisible disabilities, such as people with mental illness who have too much anxiety or depression to get up out of bed and make it into work. They could work remotely from home. There is also the fully robotic restaurant Patsy in Paris, which opened in July of 2021, being the first automated restaurant in the world. It's a fast food restaurant with absolutely everything in the restaurant being completed by a robot staff. It's been largely successful to boot, with 60% of Parisians in a poll hoping they could continue to go back to the restaurant after lockdowns were done for good. Even AI technology is becoming more popularized in human workspaces, and not in the ways you might think. Sure, there are already AI tools used to make human jobs easier, such as Google Mail predicting the words you might type to help you send your email faster, or automated systems that make it easier to set appointments or calculate the losses of a company. But AI is slowly working its way into managerial positions as well as we speak. MobileWorks is a company that is one of the first examples of this, with the implementation of AI managers that will search through their employee database to find the person with the best qualifications for the job that the AI needs to assign. From printing business cards to managing company social media, the AI predicts who will do the best job and calls on that employee to complete the task. However, this revolution will not come without its drawbacks. As seen in the past, with every human revolution comes the loss of jobs that machines designed to make humans obsolete in the production process. But even though those predictions happened, and granted, they were not met with fruition, the fifth revolution is a little bit different. So it's okay if you don't remember all those revolutions when I explain them. We're going to go over them one more time just to really drive this point home. The first industrial revolution changed the way people lived as a whole, creating factories that allowed many people to move off farms and create and work in big cities. People rebuilt their skill sets. There were minor job losses, but ended in a greater job market. The second industrial revolution impacted those in steam power-related jobs. Factories started to shift to electric power to run these machines. This did cause short-term job loss as well, but again, ended up with more jobs than when they started. Then we have the third industrial revolution, bringing the rise of electronics. No longer were the middlemen in technology. We're saying goodbye to switchboard operators and hello to pagers and the first mobile phones. This also resulted in more jobs than loss of jobs, especially in technological fields. In this day and age, however, the fourth revolution brought about many, many more jobs than the past ones, with more people having access to skilled professions such as medicine and finance, but also maintaining older jobs even from before the first industrial revolution, with, of course, mass production lines still existing, and then jobs such as chimney sweeps and farmhands still hiring to this day. Then we're looking at the fifth revolution in the future. This is the only one that will prove to be formidable in any sense when it comes to employment. There are already issues of AI managers following the trend of picking men more over women in coding and software-related jobs, the algorithm realizing that women make up a stark minority and drawing its own conclusion that men must be more qualified in that sense. Even though we still have the obstacle of making sure algorithms are created fairly and that AI managers are picking employees to complete jobs fairly, or making sure the customers have the best dining or shopping experience, there is still much room for improvement and many years before this is the reality we live in. There's also the bright side of the coin, that humans may be able to live their life to the fullest more without having to slave behind a counter or conveyor belt to scrape by each month. It can also very easily take the bias out of the hiring process, given that the AI is coded to focus on accomplishment alone rather than age, gender, or race. And that concludes my presentation. I hope you have a great rest of your day.